Hello, Uncle Ted, your ice cream alchemist with ice cream every day, and this is banana, pineapple, and strawberry custard ice cream, and I'm making this for Kenneth. Now, Kenneth is the teenage son of a friend of mine, and a while back on a road trip to Dubuque, Iowa, in my van to pick up a bed, Kenneth had mentioned that his favorite flavor of ice cream, or ice cream that he wanted to try, was banana, strawberry, and pineapple together. And I filed that away in the back of my mind, and lo and behold, I ended up having all three of those together. And I thought, I'm going to make him one. Now, Easter is going to be the best holiday to celebrate for this because his birthday is way off. And this is actually going to be a surprise for him, so he doesn't know that this is coming. So his mom and I decided that we're going to surprise him with some ice cream. Kenneth is a good kid. He's helped me out before, and I wanted to do something nice for him. And so I thought this ice cream would be perfect. Now, it's really a good ice cream. It came out very rich, and that flavor combination and the reduction that I made is just beautiful. And in a previous video, I showed exactly how I made this reduction, and I'm going to have a link, obviously, so you can check that out. It's real simple to make. Equal parts of all three fruit with half a cup of sugar and about a half a cup of the pineapple juice, and I just cooked it down and reduced it until I concentrated the flavors. And I have to say, I've used this in a couple different iterations. I used it for sherbet, and then I used it for another ice cream without eggs, but in this custard it shined. It was wonderful. And so let's go ahead and get on with it. The ingredients are fairly standard. This is going to be 2 cups of whole heavy cream and 1 cup of whole milk, 4 egg yolks, teaspoon of vanilla, 1/8 of a teaspoon of guar gum, as well as half a cup of sugar, 1/3 of a cup of the dry non-fat milk. For the yolks, just separate the yolks from the whites. I always hang on to my whites because I use them in a lot of stuff. I do some baking and a few other things, so make sure to hang on to those egg whites. And so I just use my hands on that. It's simple. For the dairy, I start with a cold pan, heat off, put the dairy in the pan, then turn on the heat, and I do it low. I pureed the fruit reduction because I wanted it as smooth as I could, plus the pineapple was a bit chunky, and you don't want big chunks of fruit in your ice cream because it just turns into icicles. For the eggs, I just go ahead and add half a cup of sugar to my eggs, and then I go ahead and whisk them up. Now, the French term is routin, I believe, but basically it's ribbon stage, so it'll double in volume, and you'll be able to draw a ribbon on the top of the eggs when you're done. And that's how you know that the sugar and eggs have been properly incorporated. Once you have the eggs at ribbon stage and they've doubled in volume, then we're going to go ahead and temper our heated dairy with the eggs. Now remember what I said, we're going to be heating up the eggs without cooking them. We want to bring the heat up without having scrambled eggs, so we're going to do it a bit at a time. That's very hot dairy, so we're just adding it bit by bit until we can incorporate it fully with the eggs. Once we have that fully incorporated, it's going to go right back on the heat because we need to cook this. We want to cook this to 165 degrees for 60 seconds to cook out the cooties. And then once we beat it back on the heat, we have to keep whisking. We have to keep stirring this, otherwise it's going to stick. So we're going to cook it on medium heat and just keep cooking it until it's done. Then we're going to strain it because we want to make sure that we get out any pieces of egg that may have cooked, which is standard for any custard. And you'll see here in the little strainer that there is a few pieces that didn't quite get incorporated. It happens. Even the best chefs will have this issue. So if you have little bits and pieces in your strainer, don't worry about it. It's standard. It just happens. That's why we strain it. So we go ahead and strain that and get any little chunks out. And then after that, that's when I add 1.25 cups of the pureed fruit, as well as the 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So after I pull it off the heat, that's when I add the fruit, because we don't need to cook the fruit. It's already cooked. We just need to incorporate it into our custard, which essentially is what this is. It's a custard. It's pudding. So we're just going to go ahead and get that incorporated. Once it's done, then we cover it with plastic, put it in the fridge overnight, then we put it in the ice cream maker according to manufacturer's instructions. This is what we get. Now, Kenneth, make sure you share with your mother All right, that poor lady has to, just share with your mom. And if you're not eating ice cream for breakfast, folks, what's the point of being an adult? Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And thank you, Kenneth.